Hi everyone, welcome to the Associate Cloud Engineering Bootcamp 2. We are so happy to have you. With me today, I have Sanchit Malhotra, the Cloud Architecture or at Google. Thank you so much, Sanchit, for joining us. Giving you all a quick brief, what we are going to do in next 3 weeks is we are going to prepare ourselves for Associate Cloud Engineering certification. We be having multiple sessions. Sanchit is going to take today's session. Meanwhile, you start preparing with the Cloud Skill Boost platform. You already have the link in the dashboard. You can go and check out your dashboard with that. Apart from that, we will be having Sanchit today on 9th of November, taking your session for the introduction of Associate Cloud Engineering, followed up by sessions on 12th and 16th, and then the quiz will be live at 17th of November, where you all have to give a quick test of to redeem the voucher, and once you have the voucher you are having an access to give your examination free. Repeating again, this all will be costing you zero, but then we are very restricted to quality this time. So all those who are uh, going through all these three sessions, doing their skill boost profiles on time, doing their tweeting properly on the hack to skill by tagging hack to skill, everything will be noted while giving the vouchers. With this, before starting on with the Sanchit, one more thing, make sure you are taking a screenshot, tagging Hack to Skill and Sanchit Malhotra on LinkedIn and post your experience and how energetic you all are for this bootcamp. With this, let me welcome Sanchit again. Thank you so much, Sanchit, for your time. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Avni. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on this Cloud Tech Camp. Uh, I'll quickly start preparing, start sharing the screen. All right, cool. So, welcome, everyone. Today is all about learning about what the Associate Cloud Engineering certification is, right? I'll walk you through the exam guide. I'll walk you through why this certification is needed, what is the use of this certification in your career, how you can benefit from being an associate cloud engineer, that too certified by Google Cloud, and what the industry demand is, and what you can what is the financial motivation behind having you being as a cloud certified engineer in the industry, right? So I'll quickly go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Sanchit. I'm working as a cloud architect at Google Cloud. I am a data and analytics specialist. I am a tech enthusiast, and I have been, mentoring quite a few folks in and outside of the industry. Right? You can talk to me about cloud, about data analytics, Python, SQL, Terraform. If you want to get certified, you want to have trainings. That's what we are here for today, right? My LinkedIn, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn at the rate Sanchit Malhotra. There's a small QR code there as well. You can scan and connect with me, and I'm happy to interact with each one of you independently. Right? Cool. Just a short disclaimer before we begin. All the contents and the opinions that I'll be stating today are my own, and these are not necessarily those of any of the organizations that I'm associated with. Right, so it's not Google who's speaking; it's myself, Sanchit, who will be expressing my own personal thoughts today. Cool. Let's move on. So let's first understand what the industry is, what is the expertise that is needed out there in the industry, what is lacking currently, and how you can bridge that gap, right? So we have been working with multiple businesses, and there have been multiple reports shared out there as to what is the skill gap that is there in the industry, which needs to be filled by cloud engineers, cloud architects, and AI/ML engineers and data engineers, for businesses to overcome the challenges, the technical challenges that they have been facing up to pre-pandemic. Plus, those challenges have grown multifold during the pandemic as well, right? So the core skills which are lacking right now in the industry, and you must have heard about the talent war that is going on, right? Everyone has seen what kind of talent war has been going on. So there is as in my opinion, there is still a lack of expertise, specifically the digital skills, the cloud skills, and that is one of the area which large or multiple organizations have been citing as one of the biggest challenges that the businesses have been facing, that has grown multi level in pandemic, and it is continuing post pandemic as well, right? So this is fairly an older report, which showcases that how much what are the top areas which are challenging for any large business organization to move towards the digital transformation, right? So cybersecurity, how do you manage cloud spend, how do you manage governance on cloud, right? What is the expertise required for people to work on on cloud, compliance issue, licensing issue, right? There's a concept of B by OL, which is bring your own license. So people have been historically working on Microsoft stack, right? And they have been using licenses. They have been tied to licenses with multiple organizations. So how do they bring their licenses to cloud? How do they migrate to cloud, right? A lot of organizations are working on legacy infrastructure, right? And they want to move to cloud. But what are the skills required to help an organization move to cloud, right? And then there was a time where organizations or businesses used to leverage either one of the cloud, either AWS, Azure, or GCP, right? But these days there has been a paradigm shift where organizations are moving to multi-cloud. So they would be hosting a part of their ecosystem in Azure, a part of their ecosystem in AWS, and a part of their ecosystem in GCP, right? So again, multi-talented resources which can understand more than one cloud or multi-cloud, those are really required in the field, right? So how does this certification helps you, and why should you be looking forward to this certification? That's what we are going to discuss next. So again, there was a survey conducted in Q1 of 2020 by Gallup. It is an independent third-party company, which showcased that why or how people have been benefited with various associate and professional level certifications, specifically GCP certifications. How they have helped them achieve success with these certifications. So out of all the respondents, 77% felt more confident in professional future. It helps you prove your skills. It's not necessarily that you know about cloud technologies, but you need to have someone certify your skills and give you a letter, a certificate which says yes, this person has the skills, those skills have been verified, and now the person is ready to be considered by recruiters, organizations, and businesses, right? uh, it makes your certification the certification makes your resume more attractive. You would you would have the chance to put those small logos on top right of your resume, and it will make your resume stand out, right? And it will make you as well as your recruiter feel confident about your candidature when they are when you submit your resume for a job role, a job opening. Then it's not only you who will feel confident about your candidature, but it's also the recruiter who feels confident about you, about your candidature, if you are certified, right? So that's primarily the four reasons why you should certify. And these days everyone is getting certified in whatever box of area they are working. It's not only about technical certifications, it's about you have certifications for anything you can think of, right? So why to leave behind these certifications in the technological realm, right? So that's I hope that gives you some motivation. If not, there is a financial motivation as well for you to to become a cloud certified engineer. Right, so this is a snap that I have taken right before this session from Glassdoor, right? So you can see it's the figures are for the beginner level, right? And you could see that the amount that is there, that's the average compensation, or the average base compensation that people have been bagging for different cloud engineer roles, right? And it has certainly grown from the time that I went into industry. And if I see this number today, that number has grown almost 1.5x to 2x, right? And it is touted to grow again 2x in next 3 years, given the challenges that the organizations are facing, and provided the fact that you are not only skilled in just one cloud, but if you are skilled in multi clouds, then surely your compensation and your base pay, additional pay, those components are going to be higher than what number you are seeing right now. So that's about the numbers. Now let's talk about the associate cloud engineer certification, right? The primary subject of today's session. So um, what as we discussed, right, the certification helps you certify certain skills, right? So what these skills are, these are primary on a very high level. It's the skills that the certification assesses. Those are categorized in five major buckets. One is, if you are skillful enough to set up a cloud solution environment, right? Specifically GCP solution environment. That's one. The second is, if you are able to plan and configure a cloud solution. So when we say cloud solutions, it's not specifically about deploying services or software systems or platforms on GCP. It's rather more about, are you confident about what services GCP provide, and are you aware, and are you able to configure those services according to the requirements, right? That is the main skills that are assessed there. The third one is, are you able to deploy and implement a cloud solution, right? Again, it basically tests whether you are able to leverage the GCP services correctly to implement any solution that you or your businesses might be willing to deploy on cloud, right? The fourth one is, how do you ensure successful operation of a cloud solution? So when we talk about operations, it majorly on a very high level, 90-95% of operations means, are you able to help from an ops perspective? By ops perspective, it is majorly on the logging, monitoring, error tracing, those kind of things? Are you able to monitor the services that you have used, the resources that you are consuming on cloud, right? All these things, that's what the associate cloud engineer certification would test out. And the last, and it's not the least but the most important part is, are you able to configure the access to cloud and the security of the cloud, right? So it relates to IAM and various security services on Google Cloud. Are you able to understand those services? Are you able to configure them properly or not, right? So that is again one thing that is tested by this certification. And these are basically, the broader umbrella skills that are required for anyone to be called a cloud engineer, right, in the industry. All right. We talked a lot about what the exam assesses, but for you to be able to delve deep into the ACE, we also call it as ACE, which is Associate Cloud Engineer. For you to be able to leverage the maximum out of the ACE training and certification, there are certain prerequisites, right? Now, these are not mentioned anywhere, but these, if you have familiarity, the more you are familiar with these topics, the easier the training and certification is going to be for you, right? So these specific topics, these are not tied to any cloud. These are general topics which you need to be familiar with. Many of these topics are taught in +2, in school up till +2, in college, first year, second year, third year, right? So these are, in a way, prerequisite for you to be able to breeze through the training and the certification quite easily. So you should know about operating systems, file systems. File systems can be either Windows based or Unix based. The IP networking stack. How do you must have seen, right, how they figure out what is the IP range to be used, different VPN gateways, so on and so forth. So you have to be familiar with the IP networking stack. You need to understand how web browsers work, about DNS, caching, and everything, and how do web servers communicate with each other and with the clients that are accessing data, or anything out of those web servers, right? The next few things would be databases, primarily SQL based, but in addition to SQL based, NoSQL based, non-relational databases, graph databases, these are pluses. Programming language. Now there are a lot of programming languages, but the primary language that you would see in various trainings primarily would be either Python or Go, or you might find Node.js here and there, plus Java, right? So these are the major programming languages you should know. If you have background of C++, that is also great. It would not restrict you, but a lot of samples and everything you would see, those would be in Python or Go, right? So that's again a plus. If you know it, well and good. If no, if you don't know that, again, it's not a mandatory requirement. The test would not test your, or the certification would not test your knowledge of any programming language. There would be no programming specific questions in the certification, so you don't have to worry about that. It's only going to give you an edge if you know the programming, right? The next would be, which would help you in certification definitely, is how do you work with Linux, specifically the command lines, right? Different commands, basic commands, ls, mv, cp, netstat, right? All these commands would help you in the certification. And the last and foremost would be, if you have some working experience with Linux, and specifically editing and working with files on Linux, be it using Vim editor or touch command, or there are different nano editors as well. Anything that is certainly going to help you. Cool. Now, how can you basically, leverage the resources that are provided by Google to help you, in your journey to become a certified cloud engineer, right? So there is a portal, there is a learning portal, which is Google Cloud Skills Boost. I hope you must have already been, informed about this platform. This you can simply go ahead and sign up and join this platform, and there you would see there are multiple trainings, labs, and resources. There are different courses out there, which a specific cloud engineer learning path has been curated, right? You can go through all of these resources, courses, self-paced labs, which are based on quick labs. So you can go through all of that. That is available through the platform. And I would want you to walk through, I would want to walk through about what is the plan of action, or how you should begin your learning journey, right? So essentially, when we are certifying, there are, on a very high level, there are four major tasks that you should go through. The first phase is the learning phase, where you should, there are multiple courses out there in the Cloud Skills Boost platform. I'll walk you through the platform as well. There are multiple courses out there. So first of all, you should go through these courses. Once you have done all the learnings and everything, then it's time to practice, right? So for practice, again, there are multiple labs out there. These are self-paced labs which you can go through, right? And you can actually, it gives you an opportunity to have an hands-on experience, right? So once you practice, the third phase is the preparation phase, where you, again, you could either revise the entire course, or you can appear for, you can do some practice exams. There is a set of practice questions which is provided by Google itself. So you can leverage those resources. There are also many books available, study guides available, on Amazon, on Flipkart, whatever suits you, right? If you are a book person, go ahead and leverage those books. If you are an e-learner, then leverage the Cloud Skills Boost platform, right? There are ample of resources, right? Google is a sea of knowledge, so there are ample of resources out there. You can leverage anything and everything that you want. Once you have prepared and you feel confident enough, the final phase or the step is to just go and sit for the certification exams, right? So that's pretty much about what I had for, as an introduction to the ACE certification. Before we can move ahead, wherein I'll give you a walkthrough of the exam guide as well as the Skill Boost platform. Do we have an option to take any questions? Avni, are you there? Is there any provision to take questions?
Yeah, Sanchit. We are here only.
Okay. Can you have questions if there are any? Otherwise, I'll move ahead.
Yes, guys, please free to drop all your queries if you have till now, and then we can go ahead with other things. Those who have don't have credits for lab, we have not yet given the credits to anyone. You have to complete the courses first, and then we will be giving you the credits, and you can move ahead with the quest and the labs. The credits will be given to you by 13th of November, and then you can start. Meanwhile, you can uh, enjoy the sessions, do your uh, courses, videos, and then you can jump onto the labs and quest. Uh, uh, a lot of people are asking any initial certification is required before ACE. If Sanchit, we can answer this.
Uh, well, it depends upon your level of understanding of cloud. If you are not at all familiar with any concepts or even the theoretical components as to why do we have cloud, right? If you do not have any understanding of these basic concepts about how does cloud help, where did cloud come from, how does it differentiate from what we had earlier, the legacy systems and servers. Plus, if you want to understand basically how does it help on the business side, right, then I would advise you to go for the CDL certification, which is the Cloud Digital Leader certification, right? That is the foundational level certification. If you can see, right, it basically helps you identify what are the broad concepts about cloud, right? What are the features available? What are the benefits of using cloud? And how can this be used in your businesses? Then that is the option that you have, that is the Cloud Digital Leader certification, right? But if you are already aware about what the cloud is, you have certain understanding of different concepts like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, function as a service, right? If you know about these terms, just the definition of these terms, I think you are good to step into the next certification, which is the associate level certification, right? The ACE certification for which we are here today. And though the foundational certification is not mandatory for you to have associate certification, but if you want to brush up your skills on cloud, even get those skills, those that knowledge certified, please go ahead with Cloud Digital Leader certification, and then start preparing for associate certification. Now, for professional certification, if anyone is thinking about professional certification, I would recommend to give ACE certification first. Though again, ACE is not a mandatory requirement for you to go with professional certification, but then ACE gives you that initial platform for you to be able to even think about professional certification if you are early in your career, right? If you are experienced and you have been working on cloud, then it's your choice between associate level certifications and professional level certifications. I hope I am able to answer that question.
Yes, absolutely. The next question people are talking about if we can explain the Kubernetes in details, Sanjay.
Okay. So I guess that is a very broad topic. It can be a session in itself, but on a very on a very broad level, what I can say is for you to be able to understand Kubernetes, you first have to understand what is Docker, right? What is containerization? That is the key concept that you need to learn for you to be able to learn about Kubernetes, right? I know Kubernetes is one of the most important topic for even the associate certification. So for you to be able to learn about Kubernetes, you first have to learn about Docker containers, and for you to be able to learn about Docker containers, you have to read about virtualization, right? So if I may have to answer that question, initially what we used to have were virtual machines, right? And then you were supposed to deploy your softwares, your services on virtual machines, right? Now, scaling virtual machines was a very tedious task because it comes with, it's there is a hypervisor, there is a operating system attached to that virtual machine, and on top of that operating system, you used to have your packages of softwares installed, and then you were able to leverage those softwares, right? Now all of this made that deployment in production very heavy, right? If, for example, if let's say if you have a hello world application, right, that might be of a few kbs, but for you to able to deploy that, you would need a virtual machine with operating system which is in gbs, right? So your application takes a 4 kb application would need a space of let's say 4 to 8 gbs to be able to deploy it, right? With linux it comes down to 1 to 2 gb, but still it goes into gbs, right? Now, what containerization did was it eliminated the use of this hypervisor and the operating system requirements, and it replaced it with another layer, which is the container daemon, or the another layer which basically frees your application to whatever the underlying operating system or the web server is, right? You can have a flavor of operating system within your application itself, or you basically do not need to rely upon there is there it basically eliminates the strong coupling of your application to the operating system, right? So that's the benefit. If I have to explain it in a very layman language, you can consider virtual machines as your independent homes, right? And you can consider your kubernetes or containers as maybe rooms in hotels, right? So virtual machines, these are large enough, and these are whosoever is living in these homes, the homes are customized according to them, right? But hotels, these are standard structures. Hotel rooms, every room is plain and simple. These are easily scalable, and for you to go and live in a room, there is no specialization or customization required in those hotel rooms, right? So that is one of the analogy between, if I have to compare virtual machines and containers or kubernetes with your standard homes and your hotel rooms, right? Now, what Kubernetes is, it is basically how you orchestrate these containers, right? So I guess that's all that I can explain right now. But for the correct explanation or in-depth understanding, there has to be a deep dive session separately onto that. So maybe you can plan that out later for the folks that are preparing for certification.
Definitely, definitely, Sanchit. But must say, this is the best explanation of Kubernetes. Even I have listened so far in our bootcamp. So thank you so much for that. The next question is, will this certificate helps us in getting internships? A lot of people is asking this question.
Uh, you want internships where? I can tell you that this certification is not something that is again a primary requirement for internship. Let me talk about internships at Google, right? Again, there is a specific process that's ideally an interview process. It does not have a primary or a prerequisite that you need to be certified. Nobody is looking for digital leader certification or cloud engineer certification even in internships, right? You can do these certifications during your internship. That is an option. um, Whether you are certified before even applying for certification, I that might help get you noticed, but that does not guarantee you an internship, at Google, or even as a matter of fact in any organization, right? In specifically in Google, you are evaluated irrespective of what certifications you have, what knowledge you have, which college you come from, right? There is a standard process, which in which the candidate is evaluated, and based on the results, it's either a go or a no go decision, right? So the certification would certainly help you get noticed, but it does not mean that you would certainly be getting that internship. That is not true.
All right. The last question we will be taking and then we will be moving forward. For the now
Mhm.
non-IT background, this certificate is worth it.
um For non-IT background, if you are planning to get into IT, definitely yes, a huge yes. I think it should be mandatory, irrespective of, if you are non-IT, then I would definitely recommend you to start with Cloud Digital Leader. Do not go straight to ACE. That is not going to help you. If you are purely non-IT background, start with Cloud Digital Leader. Start with basics, build your foundations first, and then go ahead with the associate certification, right? And definitely there is a lot of opportunity even if you are from non-IT background. That is what these certifications would help you to learn, to grow, and find your path in the IT industry as well. So if again summarizing, if you are non-IT background, please start with Cloud Digital Leader certification.
Definitely, Sanchit. With this, we can move ahead, Sanchit, if there is anything else to cover.
Cool. So I just wanted to walk through, the portal that we have, the certification portal, and specifically the cloud engineer certification, right? So this is the page that you would certainly land on. Now, how do you navigate this page, and what are the resources that are available, right? Uh, so first and foremost, let's talk about what the exam is. The exam is a 2 hour lengthy exam. You are given 2 hours. There are roughly about 50, there could be anywhere between 50 to 60 questions. Now these questions are of majorly two types. Either those will be multiple choice questions or multiple select options, right? Multiple choice options means there would be one correct answer out of four or five, right? Multiple select questions would be either choose two out of five or three out of five, right? That is the format of the exam. You would certainly be taking it in English, but it is still available in multiple languages. So that's pretty much about what you can expect on the exams. Again, there are two ways of giving the exams: online proctored, or you can do it from your home as well. um, Effective October 1st, this has been a recent announcement that earlier the eligibility or the validity of the certification was 2 years, but now it has been extended to 3 years if you have taken the certification on or after October 1st, right? So that's a very good thing because it helps you have the value out of that certification for a longer duration of time, right? um, how do you prepare for examination? We talked about Cloud Skills Boost platform, right? So let's go to the Cloud Skills Boost platform. So this is the, let me increase the size of the screen. This is the Cloud Engineer Learning Path, which is available on Cloud Skills Boost platform. As I said, right, there are multiple courses, there are labs which you can take, there are quests which you can take, right, for practice, and there are 13 activities that are there for you on this platform. You can join this platform to leverage all these resources. Plus, once you join this platform, there is a catalog which is not only restricted to cloud engineering learning path, but you have lot many other courses, labs and quests available, that you can explore even for your ACE certification, right? So do not be restricted only to these courses and labs and quests, but please feel free to explore the broader catalog of Google Cloud Skills Boost platform, right? uh, I guess people would already be having subscription to this, or we would be providing the certification. So definitely explore this platform and leverage this platform as much as you can, right? Now next is, this was the first aspect where you could leverage these courses at your self pace. There is also another thing, which is there are webinars. These webinars are given by industry experts as well as googlers. So you can definitely register for these certification preparation webinars and talks, right, which would again give you a lot of broad perspective about how to prepare, what to expect on exams, how do you what should be your learning strategy, what should be your preparation strategy, right? So all these things are available to you, on the Cloud Skills Boost platform, right? um, the next part would be, let's talk about the exam guide, right? Let's go to exam guide. Cool. So here you can see, what you can expect on the exam. Google Cloud has provided you an exhaustive list of anything and everything that you can expect on the exams, right? So there are broadly multiple sections, which we talked about earlier when we talked about what are the primary skills or the umbrella skills that are evaluated in the ACE certification. So those are, how are you able to set up a cloud solution environment, right? Are you able to plan and configure a cloud solution, right? And the next one is, are you able to deploy and implement a cloud solution? The fourth one would be, how are you ensuring that the operations that are performed on a cloud solutions, are those successful or not, right? How do you monitor, how do you log, how do you trace, right? All those aspects, specifically again related to, somewhere related to SRE. Those are certain very 30,000 feet topics of how do you operationalize solutions on GCP, right? And I guess there would be a last one, which is, how do you configure access and security on a cloud, right? So these are the five broad umbrella topics which we discovered earlier as well. Let me walk you through the first one. So how do you set up cloud projects and accounts, right? Now there are multiple steps or subtopics within this. The first and foremost is, you need to understand what is the resource hierarchy in GCP. Right, you have organization node on the very top. Then you have folders, subfolders, projects and resources, right? So once you start leveraging those courses on Skill Boost platform, you will get to learn about what the resource hierarchy is and how do you set up a resource hierarchy, right? The next one would be, how do you apply organizational policies, right? Actually, I can go ahead and show you what exactly I'm talking about. This is the the cloud console that I have for you today. So let's we can start by creating a project, right? Let's go and create a project. So this is the the console which lets you identify what are the resources that you have, what is the resource hierarchy, what is the node that you have, what are the folders and subfolders, what are the projects in there, right? This basically helps you, gives you a single pane view of your resource hierarchy. All right. Now we created a project. Let's go into that project and then start looking at what these things are. Let me jump into the project. So this is the project HTS camp that I created right now. Let's talk about organization policies, right? So I'll walk you through what the organization policies are and where are these helpful, right? So, what are organization policies, right? Cloud organization policies, these let you put up constraints to access of your resources, right? It can These policies can be applied on organization level, folder level, or project level, right? I can give you an example of what organization policies are. For example, if you want to restrict, you know. That only one level of hierarchy should be maintained. That is, within a folder, you should not be able to create subfolders, right? So you can apply these policies using organization policies, right? These are nothing but constraints or rules that you want to specify in GCP, right? So organization policies are nothing but how do you manage and specify constraints and rules on your your cloud platform. Let's go to the next topic of applying organization policies. We have already covered granting members IAM roles, right? So next thing is, how will you ensure that a person or even as a matter of fact you are able to access different services, right? So for that there is a service on GCP which is IAM. It is Identity and Access Management. So within IAM, you can basically specify, which user has access to which resources. And when we say which user, which resources, it basically means what are the roles that a specific person, is, what are the roles and what are the permissions that are provided to a specific person to perform, such actions on GCP cloud platform. Let's move on to the next topic, managing users and groups in cloud identity. So users and groups can be managed via either Google Groups. So you must have heard about Google Groups. If you go to groups.google.com, there you are able to create groups. It can also be handled within cloud identity. Now again, cloud identity is a broad topic, but consider them as a logical grouping of different users that you can manage independently, right? For example, if you have 4 developers and 4 testers, if you give them permissions one by one, it is going to be a tedious task and it is not manageable, right? But if you create 2 groups, developer group and testers group, and you put the 4 developers in the developers group and you put 4 testers in the testers group, then you don't have to manage permissions individually. You can just specify what roles and what permissions does this group has, and then those are auto forwarded to all the individuals that are there in that group, right? So that's mainly about how do you manage users and groups. The next point is how do you enable APIs within the projects, right? So every service on GCP is essentially an API, right? For example, let's talk about Kubernetes, right? So if I talk about, let's go to the API and services page. and I'll show you what APIs really are, right? So if you see, there is a, topic, or there is a section here which says enable APIs and services, right? So if I have to use Kubernetes API or service in this project, then I need to enable that API or that service, right? So let's search Kubernetes, right? You see Kubernetes Engine API. Now this is the first one, which is Kubernetes Engine API. Now if I need to use this service on GCP, then I have to go ahead and enable this API, right? So if I go ahead and enable this API, the API which is okay, now it requires billing, but let's, so this is the API name or the service name, container.googleapis.com, right? So essentially, whenever you are working with Kubernetes, all your backend calls, right, those are going to this URL, which is container.googleapis.com, right? So for you to be able to leverage Kubernetes on GCP, you need to enable this API. Similarly, for any service that you need to use on GCP, you have to enable those APIs. All right. Cool. Let's go back to what is the next topic: provisioning and setting up products in Google Cloud's Operations Suite. Let's go back to Operations Suite. So, if you remember, I talked about logging, monitoring, tracing, error reporting in Google's Operations Suite, right? So, now I'll show you what I meant by Operations Suite. Okay, more products. We have compute, we have serverless, storage, databases, integration services, networking, and then comes the operations suite, right? So within operations, what we have is monitoring, logging, debugging, profiling, tracing, and error reporting, right? And there's a new service which has come up, which is backup and disaster recovery, right? So all these services together, constitute of the operations suite, which helps you operationalize the platform, the services, and the APIs on GCP, right? So in exam, you might be asked questions on any or each of these services that you see here, right? So be familiar with monitoring service, debugger service, logging service, profiler service, trace service, as well as error reporting service. Okay, cool. The next subtopic is how do you manage billing. Now, although I can't show you to how to configure the billing right now, but essentially what you need is for you to be able to leverage different APIs and services. Although you are given free credits to start with, there is a, I guess, $3,300 credit which is given. So early on you can leverage that credit for using the GCP platform. But going ahead, you would certainly need one or more billing accounts to be created. And then once you have created the billing account, then you have to associate each project to either to a specific billing account, right? Now the benefits of setting up billing account is it gives you clear understanding of what is the cost that you are spending on GCP, right? How you are spending on GCP. You can create budgets, you can create alerts, and you can export the billing information to analyze it further as to where exactly we are spending more, where we can save, so on and so forth, right? You can use it to forecast your future spends as well, which the platform already does for you, right? So that is on a very high level the billing configuration subsection. The last is the CLI, the SDK, right? So how do you install and configure the command line interface, as well as the Google's SDK, which is software development kit. So when you go to your cloud, you would see there is a specific, um, in the Google Cloud documentation as well. You would see cloud documentation CLI. Right, so this is the link that is of utmost importance for specifically for the ACE certification. Is how do you configure various CLIs and SDKs, right? So there are quick start guides which basically explains you how to install Google Cloud SDK, how to install Google Cloud CLI, and different tools like GS utility, BQ utility, right? So all of these things are specified in the public documentation. If you will just search on Google for GCP SDK or GCP CLI, right, then it will lead you to this page, and you can go through this page to understand what the CLI is and what the SDK is, right? That's pretty much about what I had. I know it might be too much for some of the folks that are there on the in the session, right? Specifically the non-IT guys. So I guess I would like to pause here for today. It's essential for you to go ahead, right, and leverage the Skills Boost platform. What we discussed today was was basically Google Cloud fundamentals, as well as the logging and monitoring and observability in Google Cloud, right? So this is what we, on a very high level, we covered today. So you can strengthen these topics further by going through these courses, and then also taking certain quests. How do you create and manage cloud resources, right? Perform fundamental infrastructure tasks in Google Cloud. So you can go through these quests today, right? These courses today and these labs today, for you to be able to have an greater understanding of what all topics did we cover today, right? So essentially, that is again. I would take a pause probably and see if anyone has any questions further.
All right. We have one question from the query, which is, shall you explain the exam time notes regarding the headphones and mic required or not? There is point two, one test required and another test do not require to use.
Can you come up again? Like what exactly they're
I
talking
guess the
about?
person is asking that if the examination is going on, does the headphone or mic requirement is must or not?
No, the headphones and microphone is not a mandatory requirement. Again, it depends upon whether you are doing it on site or if you are doing it at your home. If you are doing it at your home, then there is an elaborate list of what your surrounding should be. What are the primary requirements of your desk, how clean your surrounding should be. There should be no interruption at all, right? And you would be monitored 24/7 through your webcam. So you can't have any notes in front of you. You cannot refer to even a single piece of paper during the exam, right? No phones allowed, no nothing allowed, right? And all these requirements are taken care by the proctor, who would be monitoring you live during your exam if you are doing it in an online mode, right? So I guess that specifically answers the question.
Thank you so much, Sanchit. If anyone has any technical doubts, please free to drop your comments and queries in the comment section. Meanwhile, regarding the quiz, everyone. For ACE Bootcamp 2, the quiz will be live on 17th of November. It will be a quiz where we will be asking questions, MCQ type of questions from all the modules. On the basis of this quiz only, we will be providing you the vouchers where you can redeem your certificates for free. I repeat again, the quiz will be live once all the sessions are done. So for now, you all can start with the course. The Sanchit has taken you through the roadmap, and it is very clear. You can see the courses there. You can start with the courses. The labs and the quest you can do after 13th of November once you have completed the three of the sessions, and you have the access the credits to the skill boost platform. You have to complete all the quest. I guess it is very important to complete all the quest and everything. Repeating again, let's revamp all the things we have to do in the A's. So from now onwards, just be interactive on the LinkedIn and Twitter. Make sure you are sharing your thoughts of your sessions regularly. Start with the courses you have in Skill Boost platform. Once you will be getting the credits, you can start with the quest and the labs. Make sure you all are handy and completed all the batches. That means all the quest, all the labs, and all the courses. So that you can give the quiz accordingly. The one who have completed the quiz as well as all the batches on Skill Boost platform will be only eligible to get some to get the voucher and upcoming things. So make sure you are doing that. Once you are completed with all the three sessions and the quiz, we will be taking you to the other quiz from where you can get the vouchers. Every information will be available on your dashboard as well as on the mails itself. Don't forget to join the discussion zone, that is our Discord server. All the queries will be solved there itself. All right, if you guys have any questions, a lot of people is saying thank you so much for amazing session, Sanchit. It was really, really, really great to have you with us. We have the Sanchit's QR code here. Please scan it out. You all can connect Sanchit also for all your queries. A lot of people are asking us for more sessions with Sanchit. Let me see if Sanchit's calendar is free or not, because I guess he has a lot of other works to do also. But we would surely love to have Sanchit once again with us.
Sure, thank you so
Uh,
much. I guess one specific question that I see in the chat, and I would want to take that up if it is fine, is people asking about do they have to go through the complete documentation, which I showed for CLI. Similarly, there would be extensive documentation, public documentation available for all the services, right? uh, the At the face, the answer to this question is no. If you plan to go through the documentations in detail, line by line, then it's going to take you months, or even a year to to grasp all the information that is there and prepare for the certification, right? So for you to not to go into that zone of reading documentations line by line, that is why you have those courses available, which gives you the summary of the information that is there in the documentation, right? So the first step should be going through these courses, right? And so essentially, when do you leverage the documentation, right? So the documentation comes when you have to dive deep into a specific topic. For example, let's say you prepared, right, and you went through the mock exam or the practice exam, right? Now in the practice exam, if you feel that okay, you are not confident about a specific topic, let's say cloud SDK, right, or Kubernetes, right, then for you to further strengthen your understanding, that is the point that you should go to documentation and identify which section in the documentation you have to refer to learn, and then go and sit in the certification. So documentation should not be the starting point, rather documentation should be the ending point of your preparation, right? I guess that's something that I wanted to clarify, since there were a lot many people in the chat who were asking about whether they should go through the entire documentation or not.
So there was a doubt from Priyanshu also that I am a web and app developer. How ACE helps me in this field?
Cool. So it's not about you being web developer, app developer, or if you are working on any stack, mean stack, lean stack, any stack, or if you are a back-end engineer or a front-end engineer, or if you are an operations guy, if you are in the testing domain, if you are in the quality assurance domain, or even if you are coming from non-IT background of, let's say, finance, or operations, if you're coming from these perspective, then also ACE is just the associate level, which gives you understanding of the technical aspects of cloud, right? It is not preparing you to leverage one specific service on cloud, or for you to be specialized in a specific service on an area on cloud, right? It still gives you a very high level perspective of different services and components of cloud. So for you, for example, let's take an example of Priyanshu, right? If you are a web developer, right, you would need to deploy your web applications on Google Cloud, right? So now, if you have to deploy your applications, you need to understand what resources are available, how to make your web application more secure, right? How will you ensure that the users are logging into your web application? How do you ensure that your application is monitored 24 by 7? The errors are reported to the developers or the support team, or the how do you get notifications of whether the application is working fine or not, right? How much time a web application, a user call is taking on web app, right? All these things would certainly help you, right, to make your application robust and scalable on Google Cloud. And for you to be able to do that, you have to have basic cloud knowledge and skills, right? So ACE is going to help you in that aspect, even if you are a web or an app developer. I hope that hits.
So the last question we are taking up, since it's already on 1 hour, how this ACE certification would be helpful for data analytic professionals?
Cool. Since I myself in a in the data domain, so again it's the understanding of data analyst, right? If you are a data analyst, right, and let's say it's not only about how you work with data, but it's also about how you store your data, what are the analytics engine that you are using to analyze your data, how are you ensuring the compliance of your data, are there any regulatory requirements for you to store your data on GCP and then analyze that data? What are the ways in which you can analyze your data on GCP, right? There is a programmatic way of analyzing your data. There is a graphical way of analyzing your data, right? So for you to be able to understand that, it's not only about applying formulas and doing computations on data, but it also about about the metadata as well, the data about the data, right? So for you to be able to do that, which service is best for what kind of data. Now data analytics, it does not necessarily mean you would always be working on tabular data, or you would always be working on databases. You may be working on structured data, unstructured data, semi structured data, right? So which service is good for unstructured data, which service is good for semi-structured data. Even if you have structured data, there are multiple services fine tuned to a certain aspect of data, lineage, volume, veracity, right, all these stuff. So you need to understand which service to use for your data specific requirements, how to handle data, how to manage data, and how to analyze data, right? So there would certainly be certain aspects in ACE which will help you. For example, BigQuery is something which is definitely covered in ACE certification. So again, that is an analytical service, right? It's an OLAP service. So it will definitely help you in that aspect. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Sanchit, for clearing all the doubts. We having, it's okay if we are having everyone clear was a question. If you have already some batches, it's okay. You can revise them and get on to the new batches. It's totally fine for us. And for those who are from other backgrounds, this is really going to be a challengeful journey. But yes, we are also looking forward to your journey. If it is Chanchal or anyone from civil background, we are really looking forward to your journey, how you are jumping into this associate cloud field and acing it all. All right, then with this, let's just wrap the session. Thank you really so much, Sanjit, for being with us today. It was really lovely to have you. Uh, you have been an amazing speaker, and trust me, I myself know what the Kubernetes is, what is everything, like everything. The examples were really, really, really phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for the wonderful audience that has been there, and a lot of good questions asked. Thank you so much. Looking forward to be here again.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to post tagging me, Sanchit, and Actor Skill. Yeah, that would be really means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.